I used to think I was just tired from working all the time, tired from being a mom, tired from grieving. And what I've come to realize is that I was exhausted. I was exhausted to the point of where I felt like getting more sleep would help, but it really didn't change how I felt. And if you're nodding your head right now because you can relate to that, know that you're not lazy, you're not broken. You are just someone that is experiencing much more than what any one person should carry. And so this episode is dedicated to the people that are spread so thin to the point of where even saying no feels like it's too much. I'm Selena, self care alchemist for Salyana Essentials, and I'm also your guide here at the Burnout Diaries. So, the Burnout Diaries is a series that I created to share stories about my life, how I navigated burnout, and my journey to recovery. So, I want to at this time thank you for watching. If you're new, hey, welcome. And if you are returning, I want to say, hey, friend, hey, I see you. I want to thank everyone for watching the videos, for commenting, for subscribing. Okay, I see them subscription numbers going up. Yes, okay. And it really is not about the numbers for me. I just really want to be able to share and to be able to use my stories to help people feel seen, feel heard, and know that they're not alone. And so I read the comments, I read every single comment, and I appreciate it. It keeps me going and it keeps me motivated. There, there was a point in my life of where I was working 16-hour work days. I was caring for my teenage daughter. I was attempting to be there for my family, the strong one, and I was grieving the loss of 8 loved ones in the span of 6 years. And at that time, I didn't know that what I was feeling had a special name. And I later learned that it is called boundary fatigue. And at the time, I just knew that I felt like I was drowning in the silence. And it didn't need a name, any kind of special name, for those feelings to be real for me. And at that point in my life, I didn't have a big meltdown. It was just kind of like a slowly falling apart, and it was piece by piece. And honestly, nobody noticed. I was going to work, I was coming home, and I was sleeping, and that was my routine. And for me, sleep, that was the way I was able to escape life. And when I couldn't sleep, I would grab a glass of wine, and slowly the glass of wine, it turned into having a bottle of wine. And that really became my way of coping. It became my way of numbing and of surviving. And it took me a lot of years to realize that surviving and living, those were two different things. And my mindset shifted, and I realized that I was just existing and functioning. If you have ever felt like you say yes, even when everything inside of you wants to say no, if you feel guilty for resting, if you feel like you're disappearing in your while your life is going on, then you're exactly where I was. I was overfunctioning, I was overgiving, I was running on empty and calling it normal. I was truly doing the most, too much. And I started to make small shifts in my life. And again, I've shared in the previous episodes how doing the most impacted my health. But in making the small changes, I would say they occurred over time. It didn't, the changes that I saw in my life and how it changed my health, those were things that I did little by little. So I want you to know it's not necessarily something that is going to change overnight. It takes time. And so some of the things that I did was I started eating meals. like not going to fast food, not grabbing a sugary treat out the vending machine, or skipping meals because I was too tired because I was working them 16 hours. I intentionally made it a point to cook and to eat meals, and I found joy in cooking because it really was a way for me to help care for my body. And one of the main things that I stopped doing was explaining myself. I was not explaining myself to people anymore. And for me, no was a full sentence. No, period. This one sentence, it gave me back my energy. And that might sound off, but really in saying no, I didn't overthink it. I just said it and I moved on with my life. I didn't necessarily care much about how people felt in me saying no because I knew that I was protecting myself. And I'll be honest, grief, anger, and numbness, like that didn't go away. It came in waves. And one of the things that I did was I just stopped ignoring it because that's in the past is one of the things that I would do. I would just ignore it. But I really embraced it. I felt those feelings. When I was grieving, I cried. And when I was angry, I screamed sometimes, scream into my pillow. Whatever I could do to just really work through how I was feeling. And I truly acknowledged it because that was my way of being able to get through it. And I often took walks in nature. So during lunchtime, instead of sitting at my desk and eating a fast food meal or skipping lunch, I would go outside and I would walk. And a lot of times before I got in the car to go home, I would just do a little walk around the area where I worked. This was an outlet for me, and it gave me time to really process the day, and it helped tremendously. And in the midst of surviving, I didn't understand the concept of hugging trees or um, walking barefoot in the grass. That stuff, it didn't make sense to me, but when I learned about it and I really embraced it, you'd be amazed. It just helps you feel just grounded, and helped me feel more relaxed. I guess that's a better word to say. So if you're feeling depleted, I want you to try this one thing. Before you go to bed, I want you to take a moment to just jot down one way you showed up for yourself today. And it could be I took a break, I drank some water, I didn't say yes when I really wanted to say no. Anything, just one thing before you go to bed, just jot that down. And this one line, it can shift how you see yourself. And that can be from being at everyone else's mercy to someone that is actively choosing yourself. So, one of the things on on my road to recovery on the burnout journey was I attended retreats. I learned a lot of valuable experiences and a lot of um, tools that I was able to apply to my life in going to different wellness retreats. And so, for that reason, I started hosting retreats because it was a way to be able to give space, have people take time away from just the everyday, a space to be able to breathe, a space to be seen, and a space where you don't have to pretend that everything is okay. And so, with every retreat, is crafted for people to be able to just just spend time breathing. I mean, simply put, where you don't have to take on too much. You don't have to do anything but just really rest. reconnect with yourself, come back home to yourself. And those might just sound like foo-foo words, but it really is when you just take time to just pause and be able to think and breathe and just take in simple acts of breath, simple act of drinking a glass of water, and thinking about when you're doing it, it really gives you an opportunity to just slow down and just be. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in the future, I want you to stay connected. And I'd like to welcome you to sign up for our retreat waiting list, because we host retreats. We have one that'll be coming up in August 2026. So let's see. In closing, I want to say that if you've ever felt like you are carrying the world, you got the world on your shoulders, I see you. And I want you to know that if you feel like you're disappearing in order to be loved, your boundaries aren't selfish. They truly are. They're sacred. And you don't have to be in a crisis in order to be able to reclaim your peace. And so I ask that you subscribe to the Salyana Essentials Burnout Diaries for weekly support and storytelling. And check out our website, SalyanaEssentials.com, to explore products and learn about those future retreats. And forward this to any woman who has been doing the most for far too long. Because choosing yourself, it isn't selfish, it's survival. And eventually it becomes freedom. Thank you.